Thank you so much for being with us. I imagine you think that the secretary did well yesterday. I imagine you think that the panel in and of itself is partisan. So let me ask this a different way. Do you have no questions about what happened in Benghazi? Are you satisfied that you know everything you need to know about the attacks that left 4 Americans dead?
I think we have a tragedy, 4 Americans dead, given a terrorist attack. And I think, unfortunately and sadly, John, it's been turned into a political football. And I think that's unfortunate. Look, I'm a member of the Select Committee on Intelligence. We did our investigation. We did our review. There have been many reviews. Are you ever satisfied completely with all of the facts? But I think we know enough about what happened in Benghazi that we can move forward.
Do you know why so many requests for more security were not responded to or turned down?
Look, I think that there are many times failures of systems, which are tragic. I mean, I like to ask the question all of the time, and we ask the same question after September 11th, right? But I didn't go around demanding hearings about why George Bush didn't prevent the attacks on September 11th. We did our investigation, we took measures, and I know that we have taken more measures in order. Here's what I would say, that it just seems to me a little ironic and a little bit of a contradiction that the same Republicans that cut the very funding for more security at embassies across the globe are the same ones that are now clamoring for more security, and why wasn't it put in place? Look, we know what happened. I saw Hillary Clinton there for 11 hours. And you want to know something? I saw somebody that I'd like across the table from Putin. I saw somebody who could be commander-in-chief. I saw somebody poised. It's been a lot. They still want to talk about the emails. It's not. I'm not saying, look, your question is great, John. Is there anything more I can know? Trey Gowdy, the gentleman from South Carolina, I have a great degree of respect for him. I have even more respect for him after yesterday. Because when he was asked, what is it that we learned after 11 hours, and he's a really smart guy, he said, nothing new on the record after 11 hours.
Well, we did learn yesterday that Hillary Clinton sent an email to her daughter on the night of the attacks within an hour of the release, where she said that some people have blamed the attack in Benghazi on a video. She did send an email to her daughter, which we had not heard, which said that this attack appears connected to al-Qaeda terrorists. That was new.
Does it change really fundamentally? We've reviewed it in the Intelligence Committee. Look, I was there. This was the best estimate of the Intelligence Committee. Do you really expect the Secretary of State to know everything about what happens at every second and to be, I mean, when you send an email to your daughter, I send one to my daughter, I'm pretty sure we're not as circumspect about what it is we're saying because they're our kids. We're talking to them in another language, in another vein. Look, this wasn't an official communication of the standing of the American government. I'll tell you, I take a lot of actions in Congress of the United States. I send a lot of emails to my kids. You wouldn't want, I certainly wouldn't want to be judged by the emails I send to my kids in terms of where it is, because I know I'm going to have dinner with them. I know they're my children.
I understand. The question is, and I don't think we're going to make new ground here, is did it contradict what she was saying in public? But I do want to move on to another issue I know you care passionately about. It's the Republican national frontrunner, no longer the frontrunner in Iowa, by the way, but Donald Trump, leading in the polls nationally, who has been invited to appear on Saturday Night Live on November 7th, I think the day is. You've written a letter to NBC which says,
yes, I have.
Having Donald Trump as a guest on every news and entertainment program is one thing, but allowing him to host Saturday Night Live is another. It is a level of endorsement that says to America that every hateful and racist thing Donald Trump has said since the moment he launched his campaign is acceptable and no big deal. What do you intend to do to NBC to force their hand on this?
Here's what we're saying to NBC. Look, this is not a boycott. Just so you know, I'm a Comcast subscriber. I'm going to pay my bill. I'm going to continue to watch NBC. But the executives at NBC shouldn't say something to the American public. I mean, Comcast, NBC Universal, John, said we no longer want a relationship because of the derogatory statements, because it doesn't reflect the values that we have as a corporation. John, I guess my question is, what happened between June and July? Did I miss the Donald Trump saying, I'm sorry? Did I miss when he said, I misspoke, that I didn't really mean it? Where was this act of contrition? Look, I guess, John, I wish for one moment you could come to Chicago. I visited 5 high schools, talked to over 2,000 seniors. You know what they asked me about? They said, Congressman, am I going to lose my citizenship? Is the 14th Amendment going to be revoked? Congressman, what are you going to do about that? Are my parents safe? Is he really going to round us all up? You know what high school kids should be asking a member of Congress? How am I going to get into college? Where is it that I get financial aid? Can I get to West Point? Those should be the conversations I'm having instead of conversations about fear that are engendered by the kinds of statements that he makes. You know, there are kids whose parents came from Mexico. And when you take a whole community of people, and you know what, Donald Trump shouldn't only worry about the ones that just recently crossed the border. He should worry about people like me that are citizens of the United States, 47 million strong, because we really, really, really take offense to the kinds of derogatory statements that he makes.
Congressman Luis Gutiérrez, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, John.